Did you know that the key to turning the biggest obstacles in your life into the most amazing chances may have been found more than 2,000 years ago? Picture navigating life's storms. It sounds like a superpower to have inner serenity that is unshakable by anything. Well, this ancient superpower is more than just a fantasy. It's an ages-old mindset that is just as useful now as it was in the crowded marketplaces and marble halls of Stoicism in classical Greece and Rome. It teaches us that although we can't control of what comes to us, we have complete control over how we choose to respond in every area of our lives. Moreover, these lessons are relevant in today's environment where unpredictability appears to be the only constant. It might be the rock that we've all been looking for. What if I told you that Stoicism is greater than contemplation? It's about leading a purposeful, resilient existence. Happiness doesn't come from controlling your emotions, no matter what life throws at you, however, recognizing and controlling them to live a more contented existence. Therefore, whether you're trying to discover more joy in the ordinary or are dealing with stress and experiencing hardship, please stay tuned as we delve deeply into Stoicism and reveal its ageless wisdom. Learn how it can change how we live as well as how we think. Remember to subscribe if you're excited to start this transformative adventure. Please feel free to share and hit the like button. Stay with me through to the very end, since each and every second of this video contributes to your understanding of the Stoic philosophy that has the power to alter your life. 1. Concentrating on what you can control. Have you ever been irate about a traffic jam or caught yourself glancing through your phone when trapped in traffic, or become offended by a critical remark someone made on your post? Even while it happens to the best of us, it seems like there are always tiny tests in our daily lives that make us feel less than happy. It affects our mental well-being at all times, but here's a viewpoint that changes the game from the amazing concept of Stoicism, which has the power to turn all that frustration on its head. The ancient Greek and Rome provides us with this potent instrument. The famous Stoic philosopher emphasizes controlling what we can influence. Epictetus once remarked that what counts is how you respond to what occurs to you rather than what happens to you. Take a moment to consider that. Traffic, poor weather, unfavorable remarks. No matter how much we might like to, we are powerless to alter any of these events. But we may alter how we respond to them. This is a concept that goes beyond conventional thinking. Carl Jung, a titan in the field of psychology, supports it as well in contemporary psychology. Renownedly, he said, "I am what I choose to be, not what happened to me." This is in line with the Stoic practices, which emphasizes accepting that the only true power we possess is awareness. Past our own responses, ideas, and deeds, let's dissect it a little further. Let's imagine you're stuck in traffic and running late for a crucial meeting. You may waste that time fuming, stressing out, and blowing your horn. Let's face it, it won't make the cars in front of you go any faster. Alternatively, you may accept the circumstance, take a deep breath, and perhaps use the time to listen to a podcast, listen to an audiobook, or just take in some music. Traffic sure hasn't altered, but how you react to it has changed, and as a result, your stress levels will decrease. The day seems a little brighter thanks to this Stoic idea of concentrating on what is within your control instead of what's outside your control. It goes much beyond simply managing the weather or traffic. It pertains to our individual objectives, how we interact with people, and how we handle challenges in life. As another Stoic heavyweight, Marcus Aurelius tells us, you have control over your mind. You will find strength if you don't let outside events realize this. So the next time something outside of your control causes you to become agitated, it helps to recall these astute remarks from our Stoic companions. Ask yourself, can I control this if it's not going to go away? Pay attention to how you respond, how you think, and how you behave. This small change can significantly affect your happiness and stress levels, but it's not always simple. Just keep in mind that daily practice is what's important here. Focus on the progress and not perfection. Over time, we'll get better at concentrating on the things we can manage. We'll discover that we're not simply surviving, but also thriving in the face of life's obstacles. It may sound strange, but Stoicism teaches us how to see challenges as possibilities. The majority of us are wired to see hurdles to our pleasure and success as just that, barriers. Those Stoics like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius turn this way of thinking on its head. 2. Accepting challenges as chances. This is a game changer from Marcus Aurelius. When life throws you a curveball, rather than asking "why me?", try to understand what you can learn from it. The Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor wrote in his memoirs, "What stands in the way of action becomes the method that impediments action advances." What he's saying is that every challenge, no matter how big, not only puts our resilience to the test, but it also imparts to us important lessons on how to find the bright side of difficult circumstances and utilizing it to propel our development. This viewpoint goes beyond antiquated thought. It's supported by contemporary scholars, according to renowned psychologist Carl Jung. Fighting against difficulties gives the things we reject more power over us. Albeit we may overcome difficulties by embracing them and taking lessons from them. This Stoic mentality is about using setbacks as stepping stones to grow smarter and stronger for future scenarios. To put it practically, let's say that your employment applications are being continuously rejected. It's easy to sink into a hole of self-doubt and self-pity, but what if you saw every rejection as a learning opportunity? Perhaps you need to work on improving a certain skill or adopt a different approach to your job search. Such change in viewpoint might transform a string of rejections into a route for career advancement. Another illustration would be interpersonal disputes, which are unpleasant and demanding. Regardless, they also present an opportunity to hone communication, empathy, and patience skills. Every argument is a chance to learn about others' points of view and hone our skills in resolving conflicts. The key to seeing challenges as opportunities is to ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation, rather than just being a passive victim of the circumstances. While we start to actively study and solve problems, this doesn't imply that it gets easier to overcome barriers, just that we need to approach them with the right attitude. Focusing on development and education, Epictetus famously remarked, "It's not what happens to you. That counts, but how you respond to it. This is the essence of Stoicism. It involves looking past the current suffering or annoyance of a challenge and identifying the lessons to be learned and possibilities it offers. So when you're presented with a tiny or large difficulty, try to take a moment to reflect and ask yourself what you can take away from the experience, how it might make you smarter and stronger. After all, challenges are more than just things to go through. It's all about the potential for development. By taking on this Stoic attitude, we can handle life's ups and downs with greater poise, fortitude, and discernment. We hear about it all the time, don't we? Live in the now. What does that actually mean, though, and why is it so significant? Living in the here and now involves embracing and living in the present moment to the fullest, preventing thoughts from drifting to the anxieties for the future or the regrets for the past. It's about understanding that life, with all of its splendor, difficulties, and surprises that exist right now in the very moment. This idea is not new or of modern ages. It is a fundamental tenet of Stoic philosophy, which existing through time, echoed by luminaries such as Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius. So many contemporary psychologists and philosophers have echoed it. But let's start from the Stoics. As Marcus Aurelius once remarked, "Do not dream of the future, nor dwell in the past." 3. Being present moment aware. Focus one's thoughts on the here and now. Realizing the importance of doing so is in its capacity to center us and help us get rid of distractions from our brains. It also enables us to recognize the abundance of life as it presents itself. But why is it so difficult to be in the now when our minds are constantly racing with ideas? Worries about the future or reliving past events, this continuous mental chatter, and takes us away from the magnificence and promise of the present moment, as noted by psychologist Carl Jung. In life, the smallest things with significance are more valuable than the biggest things without it. Being in the present now adds significance to the little things that happen every day. Beyond measure, improving our lives, Aristotle discussed the significance of living in the moment to arrive at eudaimonia, or an affluent, joyful and healthy state. He thought that by living in the present and making the most of our human experience, we may lead moral lives. So the first step in practicing present moment life is mindfulness, the practice of eating mindfully and without passing judgment on the moment. Savor every bite and pay attention to how the earth feels beneath your feet as you stroll. When someone is speaking to you, pay attention to what they are saying instead of preparing your next move. Our lives become richer and more meaningful when we practice these small mindfulness exercises that bring us back to the present. Seneca said that living in the moment is the key to true happiness. He recognized to worry about the future without being overly dependent on it, because what has already happened just makes us less happy right now. It isn't necessary to ignore the past or the future in order to live in the present. Finding a balance between reflecting on the past and making plans for the future is key. It's about this balance, not letting those activities take over our present, that we find contentment and serenity. Keep in mind that every moment is a chance to restart and bring your attention back to the present, where love and memories are created. Thus, let us strive to be more mindful of the present moment and value it. Here, at this precise time, is where life actually happens. I understand that the term self-discipline may conjure up ideas of strict routines and a life devoid of enjoyment. Let's change that perception together. Exercising self-control doesn't mean living a life full of restrictions. It's about giving yourself the freedom to make decisions that are consistent with your core beliefs and long-term goals. At its foundation, it's about selecting what's good for you, not what's convenient at the time. Saying yes to activities that benefit us and gaining control over oneself are key components of developing self-discipline, and saying no to things that don't, even when they're difficult to consider. Whether it's saving money rather than making impulsive purchases, or maintaining a fitness regimen, or shutting off Netflix to concentrate on a task, decisions that might not provide immediate satisfaction, they open the door to success and long-term fulfillment. Marcus Aurelius's Stoic philosophy has a lot to say on self-control. You have control over your thoughts, as the Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor famously stated. You will find strength if you don't let outside events realize this. This succinct remark emphasizes that self-discipline is really about reining in our urges. 4. Developing self-control feelings and deeds, in spite of the outside distractions and temptations life presents us with. Seneca provides insight on the matter, counseling us to maintain and resolve, master our cravings instead of letting them rule us. He realized that genuine freedom originates inside from our capacity to control our desires and our own selves. So why is self-control so important, you say? The ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle clarifies this, saying that we accomplish excellence and morality through habit. We develop habits by exercising self-control. It guides us towards being our greatest selves. It is not about infrequently exercising willpower, but also about continuously making decisions that align with our objectives and beliefs. Developing self-discipline is also related to contemporary psychological knowledge. Psychological pioneer Carl Jung highlighted the significance of combining self-control, which is necessary for the complete integration of all facets of our personalities, as well as to balance the needs of many mental regions, selecting routes that advance our overall health and development. So how can we cultivate self-control in our day-to-day activities? Begin modestly and choose one area to work on, such as your diet, fitness regimen, or spending patterns. Make specific but attainable goals. Always remember to take each day as it comes, making decisions that are consistent with your objectives each time. You'll strengthen your capacity for self-control, as Epictetus warns us that nothing wonderful ever happens overnight. Self-control is developed by taking tiny, regular steps. It's all about development and progress. Don't focus on perfection every day. Take the daily offering of fresh chances to exercise self-control. Building self-discipline requires making decisions that take us closer to our goals. It's a journey about striking a balance between our immediate and long-term desires. It involves making decisions that, although difficult at the time, will move us closer to our objectives. Long-term contentment and tranquility. So let's dedicate ourselves to this trip together, encouraging one another to select the correct path rather than the easiest one. Remember that the road to realizing our dreams is located in the domain of self-control and leading a life we genuinely like. When life throws us a curveball, we all go through a roller coaster of emotions. Anger, sadness, and frustration are normal human emotions. The shocking thing is that how we respond to our feelings matters just as much as the feelings themselves. That's where emotional resilience's magic happens. It's like having a superpower. It enables us to gracefully weather life's storms and emerge stronger. On the other side, it's about recognizing our feelings, comprehending them, and then acting constructively to move on. The Stoics had a lot to say about this, preferring to not let our emotions carry us away. For instance, Marcus Aurelius reminds us that we have control over our thoughts. You will find strength if you don't let outside events realize this. This insightful realization strikes at the core of emotional resilience. It's about realizing that even though we may not be able to control everything that happens to us, we can influence how we react. 5. Building emotional sturdiness. Seneca provides insight on how our emotions don't have to dictate what we do, overcoming adversity without losing our cool. He emphasizes that obstacles in life are opportunities for us to grow character and resiliency by patiently and understandingly facing our emotions. We can become stronger and wiser, but how can we become emotionally resilient? It begins with self-awareness, or being conscious of our feelings and responses. It improves our self-awareness and teaches us that it's acceptable to experience our emotions. However, we can decide to respond in a way that is consistent rather than responding on an impulse. Aristotle talked about the golden mean in relation to our values and long-term well-being, striking a balance between excess and deficiency, a concept that works incredibly well for finding a balanced way to deal with our emotions. This is what emotional resilience is all about, not allowing them to dominate us or repress them. Carl Jung, a pioneer in psychology, underlined how crucial it is to integrate every facet of our psyche in order to attain wholeness. Understanding and facing our emotions is a step in this process, and building emotional resilience is fundamentally about taking lessons from them. What then should you do when you find yourself overcome by intense feelings? First, allow yourself to feel. Accept your sentiments without passing judgment, then step back and try to figure out what caused them. This contemplation might give you important information about your emotional triggers and tendencies. Epictetus once remarked that what matters is not what happens to you, but how you respond to it. This serves as a potent reminder that our experiences are shaped by how we respond to our emotions. We have the option to respond constructively rather than reactively. Because developing emotional resilience is a journey towards healing. It entails being patient and thoughtful while reflecting on oneself. It's about assembling a toolkit of coping mechanisms, such as writing or speaking with a reliable friend. While using relaxation techniques, the most crucial thing to remember is to be gentle to yourself and have empathy while you go through your feelings. Emotional toughness is not about never experiencing bad emotions. Instead, learn to ride their waves, handle feelings gracefully, and emerging from them stronger and becoming more self-aware. We give ourselves the ability to overcome obstacles in life by cultivating emotional resilience. With bravery and grace, let's embark on this adventure together and help one another become more emotionally strong and, in the end, leading a more contented existence. The Stoics, who included luminaries like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius, used this philosophy to encourage a greater appreciation for each moment rather than to instill fear. They thought that by accepting our inevitable mortality, we would be able to live more fully. Conscientiously and appreciatively, Marcus Aurelius in his meditations frequently encouraged us to live a life loyal to our ideals by reflecting on the fleeting nature of life. Allow that to guide your actions, words, and thoughts. He stated that this isn't about being depressed. It serves as a reminder to take action and concentrate on what really matters. 6. Memento mori, recall that death is eternal. To live with integrity and purpose, letting go of small worries, Seneca also discussed how fleeting life is and urged us to avoid wasting time on unimportant things. However, he thought that being aware of death would let him concentrate on building a meaningful life. inspires us to value our relationships and experiences and to live a more prudent life. Epictetus stresses the value of living in the now and making the most of our days. We are more inclined to live moral lives and to recognize the beauty and richness of life when we keep in mind that we won't live forever. How can we use memento mori in our daily lives without it casting a shadow of negativity over us? The first step is to change our mindset so that we no longer associate awareness of death with terror. We can see it as a strong incentive to fully live our lives. It's about living in the now and not putting off our goals or happiness for an uncertain, vague future. Consider the things you've been putting off. Perhaps it's time to follow your passion, re-establishing contact with loved ones, or just pausing to enjoy the little pleasures in life. Memento mori serves as a reminder to cherish each moment of life. It inspires us to lead more genuine lives and to publicly express our love and to live in the moment. This idea also instructs us to recognize the transience of life, which increases our appreciation for the time we have. We are more likely to treasure our experiences when we keep in mind that time is of the essence, to express our thanks for the people and experiences that enhance our lives and to live more consciously. Therefore, let's use memento mori as a motivator for growth rather than as a source of anxiety, deeper appreciation for life and thankfulness. Let it serve as a reminder to make decisions that are in line with our core beliefs in order to appreciate our relationships and to cherish the beauty of the present while keeping in mind that we shall all pass away. Eventually, it inspires us to embrace memento mori and live more completely now. We are given a potent reminder to celebrate life rather than live in fear of dying. Let us cherish each moment, not out of fear for its demise, but rather out of a deep love for life itself. Let's conduct our lives such that we have no regrets when the time comes, knowing we lived fully, loved sincerely, and valued life's amazing journey. It's amazing how a seemingly straightforward idea can have such a big influence on our life. It's about putting less emphasis on what we lack and more on what we already have. This routine can truly alter your life, especially on the days when everything seems difficult. As clever as they were, the Stoics had a lot to say about thankfulness. They held that contentment stems from appreciating what we already have rather than acquiring more. Marcus Aurelius frequently discussed the value of living in the now and finding happiness in the little things in his writings. He advised thinking about how fortunate you are to be alive when you get up in the morning. This is the ultimate expression of gratitude: to breathe, to think, to enjoy, and to love, appreciating the worth of life and all of its blessings on a daily basis. 7. Gratitude exercise. Seneca discussed how our cravings might mislead us into constantly pursuing more and never achieving ultimate contentment. He proposed that by concentrating on what we already have, after seeing that life's greatest joys are already within our reach, we can truly be content. Recognized for his pragmatic interpretation of Stoic philosophy, Epictetus exhorted his disciples to recognize their existing situation, whatever it may be. He thought that if we could accept and find meaning in where we are right now, we could have more meaningful lives. But how can we cultivate thankfulness, particularly when life presents us with obstacles? The first step is to make it a regular practice to take 3 minutes every morning or evening to reflect on 3 things. It could be something as basic as a warm cup of coffee or a friendly discussion for which you are thankful. Seeing the splendor of a sunset, this exercise rewires our minds to concentrate on the good. Embracing the obstacles is another way that appreciation can improve our attitude and perspective on life in general, and learning from them rather than questioning why this is happening to me. What can I learn from this change in viewpoint? One would wonder how it can assist us in seeing both positive and negative experiences as important stepping stones on our path. Moreover, cultivating thankfulness fosters closer relationships with others. When we show gratitude to the people in our life, we not only make their day better, but also improve our connections. A small gesture of gratitude can make a big difference. Aristotle discussed the significance of acknowledging someone's worth and affection, the positive things in our lives, and making an effort to live a moral existence. He thought that being grateful was essential to attaining eudaimonia, or genuine happiness, which enables us to recognize the goodness in our surroundings. Even contemporary psychology acknowledges the advantages of appreciation within ourselves. Studies have indicated that those who consistently practice thankfulness report feeling less anxious. As Carl Jung once stated, sleep better and have a more positive outlook on life. If melancholy weren't present to counterbalance happiness, the word would become meaningless. We discover a deeper understanding when we accept and be thankful for the whole range of our experiences. A more genuine kind of happiness, therefore, let's incorporate thankfulness into all we do on a regular basis. Let's rejoice in the little things, treasure the times we spend together, and acknowledge the little wins. One way to develop a sense of wealth is to concentrate on what we already have rather than what we lack. The joy that radiates from within. Keep in mind that thankfulness isn't brought about by happiness. Gratitude is what makes us happy, so let's aim to see the half-full glass, lift them up and celebrate the beauty of thankfulness in our life. Let's look for the bright side of everything, even the overcastest of days. The Stoics understood personal excellence deeply. They held that virtue or excellence is the only thing that is good, and that all we do should be directed towards leading a moral life. One of the best examples of someone who pursued personal greatness is Marcus Aurelius. He once observed, "Stop wasting time debating what a good man ought to be. Be one." This straightforward but impactful statement captures the spirit of exceptional personal performance. It's about trying to live up to the ideals we respect and emulating them every day. 8. Concentrating on individual excellence. Seneca promoted a life lived in self-improvement and study, stressing the value in line with logic and nature, indicating that genuine greatness originates from inside. It is evident in the decisions and deeds we do. Epictetus emphasized the significance of this. He stressed that taking personal responsibility for reaching excellence means that our responses, being able to manage our emotions and will, is essential to leading a moral life. However, how does concentrating on personal excellence manifest itself in our daily lives? Setting personal standards based on our beliefs and goals is the first step, not society norms or other people's accomplishments. Rather, it's about understanding who we are, recognizing our advantages and disadvantages, and making constant progress. Resilience is another aspect of personal excellence. It concerns how we handle failures and setbacks, not only our accomplishments. As Aristotle once stated, excellence is never an accident. It is always the outcome of well-intentioned, real effort and deft execution. It symbolizes the thoughtful selection from a wide range of options, not just luck decides your fate. Hence, accepting challenges as chances to develop and learn rather than viewing them as barriers. Furthermore, developing a growth mentality is necessary when concentrating on personal greatness. A theory supported by contemporary psychology holds that our capacities and intelligence can be acquired with commitment and effort. It inspires us to take on challenges, continue despite obstacles, and consider effort as a means of reaching mastery. Living genuinely is another aspect of personal greatness. It involves staying loyal to who we are and what we stand for. Even in difficult situations, it's important to make decisions that are true to who we are and who we aspire to be. Acknowledging our journey's challenges, as well as its successes, and feeling proud of it. As we previously noted, cultivating thankfulness also contributes to personal excellence. We can cultivate a good mindset by being grateful for what we have and where we are in our path. It promotes our well-being and growth, so let's make a commitment to concentrating on personal greatness. Let's establish our own benchmarks, value our individual journeys, and be proud of our advancements. Recall that being proud of who we are and the way we live matters more than trying to be flawless. It's about appreciating our accomplishments, taking lessons from our past, and constantly aiming to be the best self. Collectively, let's achieve personal greatness, not only an objective, but a way of life in a world. When comments, likes, following, and social media saturation are common and often determine our own value, and it's simple to get caught up in the trap of overvaluing oneself through the prism of other people's perspectives. The liberating reality is that your value isn't determined by outside approval. It's about living a life that is consistent with your ideals and staying loyal to who you are. The Stoics, those age-old thinkers whose timeless wisdom we continue to seek out, had a lot to say about this. They emphasize that concentrating on the things that we can control will lead to inner peace and liberation. Our deeds, our ideas, and our integrity, not the vacillating views of others. 9. Not giving a damn about what people think. I've always wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all others, as the sage Marcus Aurelius once said. Based on other people's viewpoints, this startling observation brings to light the dichotomy that many of us experience, valuing the opinions of others more than our own evaluation of ourselves. Seneca reinforced this idea by stressing the significance of leading a life that is authentic and uninfluenced by the approval or expectations of others. He believed that leading a life that is consistent with one's values brings to genuine contentment from inside. Epictetus taught our beliefs and ideals that concern for others' opinions are not under our control, so they are not worthy of our effort. Instead, he urged us to concentrate on our own deeds and leading moral lives, since our actual power resides there. It's more important to be genuine to ourselves first and less about what other people think. You have the ability to choose your own value because you are the author of your life story, not your friends, family, social media, and not any other individuals in your vicinity. It's important to firmly establish your self-worth in your identity and principles, the love you show others, and the work you do to be the best version of yourself. Think about yourself and ask, whose life am I living? Do my decisions reflect my desires, or am I attempting to conform to the expectations of others? You can better connect your behaviors with who you really are by thinking about these questions. Embrace vulnerability. Being authentic requires owning up to your shortcomings, realizing that development is inevitable and that perfection is a mere illusion. Being genuine while making errors and growing from them draws the appropriate people into your life. Those that value who they truly are also keep Aristotle's teachings in mind, who discussed discovering life's balance and the golden medium. Applying this to our concern for other people's viewpoints, it's important to strike a good balance between taking constructive criticism into account. Upholding our independence and sense of value by adopting a Stoic outlook on life implies that our actions and virtues influence how valuable we are, and our determination to live a meaningful life without seeking praise or recognition from others. It's about constructing a solid inner wall that is unaffected by the ephemeral thoughts of others. Let's make a commitment to appreciating our true self rather than the likes of others, regardless of the acceptance we get. Let's be brave in our genuineness. Leading lives that are true to our core beliefs, never forget that you are valuable in and of yourself, and you radiate your light in the most sincere way imaginable by staying loyal to who you are. Let's not just get by in life, but also flourish in it with the assurance that comes with understanding who we are, living really in line with our principles and being loyal to who we are. Here's the thing. Embracing change is essential to our development and pleasure, not merely necessary. The truth is that change is the one thing that is constant in life, so learn to accept and flow with it. The unavoidable changes in life make navigating them less terrifying and more of an adventure, according to the Stoics. 10. Embracing adaptation. Marcus Aurelius had a very healthy outlook on change, viewing it as a normal component of the rhythm of the cosmos. He said to accept whatever comes your way because it is all part of your destiny. What could better suit your requirements than this deep acceptance of change as a necessary component of existence, enabling to comprehend that every change, whether we view it as positive or negative, has a role in our narrative. Seneca advised against growing overly devoted to our disappointment may result from the current situation, because it will eventually change. He counseled us to be adaptable and recognize that change isn't simply a fact of life, yet an essential element of our own growth. With joy, Epictetus urged us to make a distinction between what we can control and what we cannot. He made the observation that although we have no influence over outside occurrences, we are in charge of how we feel about them. This is a very powerful way to think. When it comes to adapting to change, we should concentrate on our reactions, recognizing the chances for improvement within the shift and persevering through it. Though how can we first acknowledge that change is inevitable and then learn to be more accepting of it? It's the way things are. Everything around us is constantly changing. Seasons shift, people come and go, and even our cells are regenerating right now at the very moment. Accepting change entails first accepting life itself through mindfulness exercises. By being in the present, we can enjoy our experiences without holding on to the past. This understanding makes room for acceptance when those experiences unavoidably change. Every change in our life, no matter how difficult, presents an opportunity for growth and learning. We can ask, what can I learn from this, rather than why this is occurring to us? This change in viewpoint can transform the difficulties associated with transition into opportunities for personal growth. According to Aristotle, leading a moral life is essential to happiness. Adaptability, or the capacity to handle change in life with grace, is a component of virtue, and wisdom is about finding harmony and balance in the midst of life's constant change. This Stoic perspective to change, which sees change as an opportunity, is supported by contemporary psychology. Instead of posing a threat, it can greatly lower our levels of tension and anxiety. It can strengthen our resilience, enabling us to better handle whatever challenges life presents. Let's not forget that change is something to embrace as a normal occurrence rather than something to suffer. Enhancing a portion of our journey by embracing change and becoming receptive to learning and development and the exquisite way our individual life pathways are developing, keep in mind that flowing with the flow doesn't equate to passivity. It involves actively embracing life in all of its dynamic complexity. Let's ride the waves of change with bravery, grace, and an open heart to all the opportunities it presents. We're all in this together, navigating the complicated trip that is life, despite our differences. We help to make the world a kinder place by encouraging an attitude of understanding and compassion towards others. Let's treasure this introspective journey because it helps us understand who we are. That each of these lessons from Stoicism points us in the direction of genuine happiness and fulfillment. Not only do life hacks have the potential to alleviate stress, but ancient wisdom also helps make smarter decisions and find calm amid chaos. Remember, it's not the trials along the route that define us, yet the strength we discover in facing them, the insight we learn and the compassion we share. Each stride, each reflection, each act of kindness is a brush stroke in the masterpiece that is your life. While we'll part ways for now, I implore you not to let the inspiration end here. Please like and subscribe to obtain a treasure store of wisdom stories and tactics to help you navigate life's twists and turns with grace and resilience. Let's dive deeper and continue to sculpt the most authentic version of yourself together. Let's keep growing, keep reflecting, and keep embracing the beautiful complexity of life. Thank you for sharing this time with. Until we meet again, remember to live for the cause of being your most genuine self. Take care and see you on the next step of our journey.